Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ladies and gentlemen, girls and gays.
From gutters to gay bars and everywhere in between.
Here to finish off your Tuesday, it's your three besties, two brunettes and a gay.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. You are here with Celeste, Deanna and Aaron, your two brunettes and a gay.
Yo.
And last week, you know, it was International Pirate Speaking Day or something like that.
International Talk Like a Pirate Day.
That's right. Yeah. In case you didn't tune in, we were trying to talk like pirate. I'm not even going to try. You know what? We were trying to talk like pirates.
Tried last week and she failed miserably.
Last week.
Oh, you did such a good job. How dare you?
Nah, it's pretty shit.
But you know
How
what?
dare you?
David gave us that idea last week and we thought, you know what? Let's continue this little tradition.
Yeah.
And let's see what days of the year it is today. On Tuesday the 26th of September is when we're recording this.
Yeah, I love it.
And you know what days it is? There's a few going on today. Are you ready?
Hit
They've
me.
got a day for everything.
Hit me.
Hit me.
Today is International Lumberjack Day.
Yeah. Aaron, you're wearing a shirt, albeit not a lumberjack style shirt, but it's halfway there.
Well, the suggestion for Lumberjack Day is to dress up as a lumberjack, eat a hearty meal, and honour the vulnerable, crucial, and often dangerous profession of lumberjacking.
Good on you for getting through that because I knew vulnerable would be a hard word for you.
Shut up, you. I said
Go to the lumberjacks. I love a good lumberjack.
You know, it's also Human Resource Professional Day. What?
Congratulations to all the professional human resource managers.
Yes.
Yes, if you are in human resources professionally,
Managing
today is your day.
Managing the humans that are resources.
Managing the humans that are resourceful.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
The resourceful humans of the world.
Now, this one's a bit fun. It's Shamu the Whale Day.
Why does Shamu the whale get a day?
Who is Shamu? Is that the one
know.
that they freed? Is that Willie? No, that's
Yeah,
Willie.
that's
That's Free
definitely-
Willy.
Yeah,
That's
but is that what
Willie.
it was based on though?
Shamu, yeah, I don't know. The first female killer whale who was a performer at San Diego SeaWorld in the mid-1960s.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Can't condone
Well,
SeaWorld,
no,
but
then
yeah.
she gets a day.
Yeah, but she
Good
gets a
on her.
day. It's also National Chimichanga Day
Yum.
Woohoo!
Yum, yum,
and
yum.
National Dumpling Day, so it's a good day for food today.
Oh, they're your dinner ideas
I
for
feel
tonight.
like if it's food-related days when we do our show, we should get those foods.
Yeah, good idea.
Can someone organise that?
Uber Eats. Let's get that going.
And this one, this last one I can really get on board with. It's actually World Meat Free Week.
Oh,
yeah, go the vegans. Woo!
Woohoo!
God, yawn.
Vegans. That's it.
No.
It's Meat Free Week.
Can't get on board with that
You
one.
have to get on board with that. It's the
No.
week. It's the week for it.
I'll get on the chimichanga one.
I'll get a nice veggie, get some chimichanga beans in it. Get you some soy protein in there. Fill it right up. That'll be
I
nice.
thought for a good long while that a chimichanga was a drink.
I feel like it is as well. I reckon
not.
it's. I
Okay,
reckon
so
there is a
Deanna just
chimichanga
said it's
drink.
got beans in it and you agreed with it?
It doesn't have beans in it. I'm
No.
saying we could do maybe we could do one.
Ah.
The drink.
Chimichangas are made from tortillas that are filled with
Oh,
spiced
that is
meats
food.
and beans. There
Fair
you
enough.
go.
There you
Take
go.
out the meat, have the beans.
Okay.
You got yourself a chimichanga.
No, keep the meat in.
Not too bad. There
Yeah.
we are. All right. How was your weekend, Celeste?
My weekend was just fine and dandy. I mean, look, the weather. Adelaide did not come to play. Adelaide was out in fine force this weekend weather-wise, and I was loving every minute of it. What about you, Aaron?
So unseasonable at this time of year for the past
Isn't
couple
it?
of
I
years.
feel like I've had this conversation so many times with people this week about the weather, and it seems like such a menial topic to discuss.
It's a boring topic to discuss.
But in September, to be getting in the 30s, I feel like
Yeah.
that's just so unheard of.
It is.
Come in.
So we've got a phone call. We're very important right now.
is.
No, but I actually like talking about the weather. Does that make me old or boring?
I was going to say it makes
you
you
both,
boring.
yeah.
I enjoy talking about the weather because the weather for me, I'm a person who notices and get affected by the weather quite greatly on a daily basis. So maybe it just depends on if you care or not.
Yeah. I don't know. It is nice to have good weather though, at this time of year especially.
Well, you know what?
How was your weekend?
Well, look, have I got a story for you?
Oh, do tell.
I do have a story. Over the weekend, I experienced what I would call one of the the Uber ride from hell.
Ooh.
Right? Now, I've been in many Ubers before, catch them all the time. Maybe not as much as Aaron does. He catches a lot of Ubers. But I've been in many a Uber before, and, they're hit and miss, right? If you catch Ubers, you know that they're hit and miss. Sometimes you get one that you're like, oh, this is nice. I tend to order, what's the next one up? The Uber X or whatever? The Uber
XL? Uber Black?
No, Uber Comfort. I tend to order Uber Comfort because I like to specify my requirements.
Typically, it's only a few dollars more.
It is only a few dollars more. If you've never tried it, I think it's
worth it. Get the temperature
it.
that you want.
Yeah, that's right.
The music.
It's what Uber used to be.
It's what Uber used to be when it first came out, right? But this time I didn't order the Uber. Somebody else did. And so I was in the Uber, and you won't believe which other passengers were on board with us in this Uber ride.
Oh.
But I'm going to tell you about that right after this. So I was in the Uber ride from hell over the weekend. And look, it started off okay. I mean, I got into the car, right? And it was not one of those cars that was like the best presented Ubers that you've ever been in, okay? It was not dirty, but it wasn't clean. You know when they're kind of just a bit like, it feels like if it has been cleaned, it was very haphazard.
Yeah.
It kind of had that bit like sticky feeling.
That's always
sticky
nice.
feeling where it's like
Gross.
there's no visible crumbs and things everywhere. Like it's not dirty, but it just feels
Invisible crumbs.
invisible crumbs. Yeah.
Yuck.
Right? And the outside, like from the inside, you're looking out the window and all you can see is like water stains and, like things on the outside. So it wasn't super clean.
It's like they basically just chucked a hose over it before they've taken it out.
Yeah, 100%, right? And then,
They don't clean the inside.
the guy was a young guy who was on his PV plates, right? And he
Private
had
vehicle plates, yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, you thought it meant... You said that, actually. You thought it meant P plates, and I didn't correct you.
What does it mean?
It's just like a
Private
personal...
vehicle,
vehicle.
Oh, okay.
It just means they're basically a rideshare driver.
Because when they first started, I don't know if they actually used to have... I can't remember if they had them
I
when
don't
they
think
first
they
started. I
did.
don't think they did, because you used to have to look out for the Uber and just match the rego number. But now they've got those little things on the little signs that you can go, oh, that's the one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, he had like stubby shorts on and like a singlet. He was a young guy,
Sounds hot.
The music was just like, I don't know, nothing in particular. But he started off fine, except he was driving about 15 to 20 Ks under the speed limit the whole
love
time.
that.
We were already running late.
That shocks me. For a guy wearing stubby shorts and those tank tops, I'd be expecting him to be a hoon.
Maybe the
No,
car
yeah.
couldn't go any faster.
Usually they're turning corners so fast that you feel like you're going to lose your head.
Yeah.
You're holding around. No, this one he was like grandma driving first. Okay, whatever. Like, was in a bit of a rush, but you let it go.
Yep.
As long as you're safe, that's a good
As
thing.
long as you get there.
But then, as I'm sitting at the lights and, my friend was in the car with me, I'm talking and he stares at the window. And I'm talking, and as I'm talking, he's staring just past me at the window while we're stopped in the car. And I'm saying, what's going on? Like, hello? Like, what are you looking at? And he's not responding to me. And then the car starts moving again. And he looks back at me and I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And he goes, I couldn't say anything because I didn't want you to freak out. But a ginormous huntsman just crawled across your window.
No.
Oh, yuck.
And I was like,
burn it.
oh my God, was it inside or outside? And he's like, I'm pretty sure it's outside. And so then we looked to the back window and there it was crawling across the back window.
No.
And it went down into the part of the car that goes into the boot. And I'm like, don't come in here. All right.
Yeah.
God,
And
can
I'm
you
like,
imagine if you had luggage in the back too?
yeah, right.
Oh,
And so I'm like, okay, we're saying all of this, the Uber driver, no reaction whatsoever. Like the
Unfazed.
whole time we're having like this conniption about the huntsman spiders, and they were big.
If you tell me
Big.
that this was his pet, I will lose it.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it was. He didn't say it was
If you're
fair.
like he opened the window and it got on his shoulder, I will die.
No, but wait, it gets better, right? So then I'm like, let's keep an eye on this huntsman because when we get out the car, we need to know if it's on the door or something because, or if it goes up above me, I don't want it to drop on my head as I walk out the Uber. So we're watching it, and as we're watching it, it kind of disappears for a while, and so I'm like, okay, you take that side of the car, I'll take this on the car. Let's be on stakeout.
Yeah.
Ninja.
Then a second huntsman spider starts crawling across the front window. There's one on the back and there's one on the front now.
Oh, I had a sibling.
It had
So there's a nest.
So I'm thinking there's a nest in this car. And I'm thinking, where does this guy park his Uber car? Like, I don't know. It was like the Addams Family.
Was he
there.
secretly Spider-Man?
No.
Maybe. I don't know.
Peter Parker driving your Uber.
And I just thought, this was I've never been in an Uber where I so quickly wanted to get out.
Yeah.
When it's like, I couldn't wait for the drive to end and he was driving so slow. And I was like, just get out of here because what if one comes out of somewhere else? And I'm not an arachnophobiac by any means of the words. I'm cool with a spider in the room. I don't freak out. But having it in a close, proximity like a car, no thank you.
Also that size of a spider, though, like a huntsman. Oh,
It's a big one, right?
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, you know what? Like David and Aaron in the studio here, you guys are frequent, we like to say that, frequent Uber users.
Well, yes.
Surely I'm not the only one with Uber ride from hell experience before. And then the timing was brilliant, Aaron, wasn't
Oh,
it?
my God. I tell you, it's like the universe was saying, here's some content for today's show.
your weekly Tuesday Uber drive.
Because I was actually racking my rack trying to come together with some, come here with a couple of horror stories from an Uber, and I couldn't really think of any, actually. They were more cab horror stories than Uber. But getting here today, my gosh. So I ordered the Uber at the normal time that I do, so usually around just before 4:30. Got plenty of time to get here.
Yeah.
It's actually where I work is not far from the studio.
No, it's really close.
It's pretty close. So I ordered the Uber. I'm standing there waiting. It took a while actually to get an Uber today. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's certain events or whatever's going on.
It's National Chimichanga Day.
Maybe the Ubers were Uber Eats driving. That's probably why.
Possibly,
they
or they were picking up all the lumberjacks that were on their way to their celebrations.
I want to know where these lumberjack celebrations are. I want to come join the
We'll
lumberjacks.
find out. We'll go there after.
All right, let's do it after here. So anyway, finally I've got this one Uber driver that's chose my journey, and so it sat basically at the top of like the top of Harney Street where Guzman is.
Yeah.
So it sat there.
What do you do for work?
It sat there, and I was like, okay, it sat there for a couple of minutes, and I thought there was just terrible traffic. It sat there. I kid you not, for at least 10 minutes. And I was like, what is going on? So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to call him.
Yeah.
See what's going on.
Yeah.
Because this happened once before, and when I called them, they're like, oh, sorry, yeah, I'm on my way. And I had no idea. They couldn't give me an excuse. Same thing happened. He couldn't give me an excuse. He's like, oh, sorry, no worries, I'm on my way. I was so annoyed. So as soon as I called him, I hung up. Oh, miraculously, he flew down King William, came pretty quickly, turned into the street that I was on, and then, of course, he parks on the opposite side of where I said I wanted to be picked up from.
Wow.
So I had to, find my way because there was no traffic lights nearby. I had to quickly cross the road, beat traffic to get across the road, which annoyed the crap out of me.
Yes, I'm with you.
And then I got in the car, no apology whatsoever. He drove through, and this just tipped it all off. We got so close to the studio, and he cut this car off that nearly ran into him.
Oh.
And this car's beeping, and he's just like, oh, sorry.
Jeez. Do you need a license to drive an Uber?
Here I was. It was only a few minutes before the show, and I'm going, oh, my God, I'm not going to get here alive.
Well, you were like 20 minutes later than what you usually are.
I'm usually here prepared, and so I got in. I was so flustered. And then even at the end, he just laughed. He said, oh, sorry, it's one of those days. And I went, it certainly is.
One of those days where I nearly died, thanks.
Yes, thanks. But at least I got here in one piece. And I think, you know what? I usually give my Uber drivers, generally, I would just give them 5 stars.
Yeah,
just because I like to support them. This one, he's not getting 5 stars.
Although, that brings me to my last question. When did the Uber standard get so low?
I know.
Sorry, Uber, if you're listening.
I feel like with the introduction of, like we talked about, like your Uber Black and your Uber XL, those original Ubers became that.
Yeah, they've bumped up.
And now your kind of more mainstream Ubers are just like your run-of-the-mill. And they don't really have as high a standards.
What's the point of the rating? I feel like when I get an Uber, like the rating doesn't play into
doesn't affect anything.
I don't know. Maybe there's a way that it affects it.
I always thought that you couldn't drive an Uber if your rating was under 4.2 stars. But it sounds like to me some of these Uber drivers would have less than that. So I wonder how they get away with it.
Well, funny enough, I actually Googled it, by the way.
Okay.
I looked at the national average of the Uber ratings. So the top Uber rating actually was in the Northern Territory.
Right.
The average Uber rating was 4.86 up there.
Okay.
For here, it's 4.83.
Wow, that's the average.
The average, yeah. Across. So, it's
so I might not be
measurable.
wrong. 4.2 might be the lowest you can be.
I would have bumped my Uber driver up if he'd had some water and some mint.
Do you remember when they used to have like little Mentoses, little Mentos packets and all of that? Oh, that was great.
Yeah, not anymore.
Bring it back.
There you go. I'm sure everybody's had one or something similar. Uber rides from hell. Now we're going to be back after the break with a mass debate. So stay tuned for more Two Brunettes and a Gay.
Welcome back, listeners. We're bringing in a new segment tonight on National Chimichanga Day. And no, it doesn't involve food or beverages of any kind.
Or lumberjacks.
Or human resourceful humans, for that matter.
We're definitely not resourceful humans.
It's a new segment that we like to call Mass Debate. Do with that what you want. Right. We found an article earlier in the week regarding the upcoming, some would say celebration, some would say commiseration of daylight savings.
Yeah.
Oh, we've already got a reaction from David.
Shake of the head.
The clocks change over.
To give you a bit of an insight into the article itself, it's titled, "It Doesn't Make Sense. Psychologists calls for complete end to daylight savings." And this led quite the discussion in our group chat, me, Deanna and Aaron, regarding whether or not we think daylight savings should end or should continue.
Well, because the clocks change over on Saturday night, don't they? Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, so we go back an hour?
No, we go forward.
We lose an hour, so we go forward. Okay,
yes.
There we go.
Yeah, it's not share season.
Sure.
Turn back time.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's the
If you
opposite.
can't turn back time.
It's Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So it led to quite a heated debate in our group chat, with myself really not included, because to be completely honest with you, I didn't really care. But Deanna and Aaron, very strong opposing opinions. So we thought, why not bring it to the listeners? Why not bring it live on air and have them explain to us or debate why daylight savings should or shouldn't exist? Now, Deanna, you are for the end of daylight savings. Am I correct?
I am not a fan of daylight savings.
You are not. All right, you have the floor. Why should daylight savings end?
You know, like as a kid, I used to love daylight savings, right? But as I've gotten older and living in the Gold Coast for 2 years in Queensland, not having daylight savings, I never thought I would like not having it, but I actually realised just how much consistency I got in my sleep throughout the year from not having daylight savings. Now, I am someone who rises with the sun. You know, I am someone who, if the sun doesn't get up early enough, then at night I cannot fall asleep like before midnight. I'm up too late. So for me, my circadian rhythm works really well with the sun.
I
now,
object.
I am going to say these are my points 4, which is exactly what the psychologist has said in the article. It's losing that hour is quite bad because the whole time you're out of synchronicity with the light-dark cycle. So it can have negative health effects, especially for your sleep. Also, daylight savings was established decades ago as a way to conserve energy back when we didn't have power full time, and it's not really relevant anymore. So why are we doing it? It's not like we're all working on the land anymore. We're sitting in an office. I personally hate setting my alarm early when it's dark. So I am for the end of daylight savings. Aaron.
You're such a Grinch.
Deanna has made her points.
Yes,
Aaron,
I have.
She has. She's
Your
made
rebuttal?
My rebuttal? Yes. I love that word, rebuttal. Maybe because it has butt in it.
please give us your rebuttal.
Look, there are a million reasons to love daylight saving, I have to say. And you know what? Thank you for having me on Celeste, because I
Look,
really
you've just
I'm
won a couple
glad
of brownie points there.
to debate this with
You are
a
welcome.
professional over here. I wasn't part of the debating society growing up, but finally I get my chance and I'm going to suck at it, I know.
That's
All right,
it.
we got some notes.
Put your debate
We've got some
panties
notes.
on.
Look, I did a bit of research, and look, the first reason I love daylight saving, and that it's a positive, there's more light to enjoy, more usable light to enjoy. Now, what I mean by this, let me put it in terms for you, Deanna. You open up around, 10, 11 o'clock during the day?
You mean our office?
Your office? Your office, 10, 11 o'clock during the day. And what time do you
Yes.
finish? Around, 7, 7:30?
About 8 p.m.
8 p.m?
Yeah.
It gives you that extra time to finish up, trek down the beach, grab some food, and watch a beautiful sunset at the beach.
You can do that in the dark.
But it's
You
not
can't
as
watch the
fun.
sunset in
And
the
you
dark. I
And,
think
and when
that's
it's
his point.
dark during the winter months, it's cold. But this time you get to actually enjoy it when you're warm, so to speak. All right. The second thing, this is a really important one, less crime rate during daylight savings time.
Is that true?
It is. So, according to my research, Google, robbery rates decreased by an average of 7% after the time change and falling by a much higher 27% during the newly created light-filled nighttime hours. Now, think about this. You girls are both women, that I'm aware of.
Yes.
As far as you know.
Women's safety. Now, women's safety, there's a key thing there, women's safety at night in darker places, darker suburbs. It's lighter later.
See where you're going with this.
So there is a bit more safety around. And, with the youth crime crisis going on at the moment, I have to say,
All of a sudden you're a concerned
it's all
citizen.
very pertinent information. The last one, my last point, I'm just going to jump into it. It's the increase in tourism. You can go and sit at your nice, beautiful restaurants like, Parlamento's, plug, La Trattoria, all those good places. You can actually sit outside and enjoy a beautiful meal outside. It's lighter longer. You don't have to rush for the early bird special because you want to get home when it's pitch black and freezing
Before
cold.
the dark and the teenagers rob you.
That's right. But before it's dark and the teenagers rob you. Exactly. And, you can just enjoy yourself for longer. So I'm going to say I'm pro daylight saving.
All right. Well, there we have it. Okay. Now, look, I would generally make the call on this mass debate here tonight on who was the winner, but we are not going to allow that to happen.
No.
We are actually going to go to our listeners. We put a poll live on our Instagram for the last 24 hours asking you, our listeners, what you think. What do the people want? Do the people want daylight savings or do the people want darkness?
Well, if I just got rid of it, but drum roll. You ready?
Drum roll. Who wins?
Okay. So, do you think it's time to scrap daylight savings? 30%. No, let's start with the lowest.
Okay.
19% said, who cares? It doesn't affect my life.
That's the less crowd, yeah.
30% said, yes, I love waking up with the sun shining. And 52% said, hell no, leave bloody daylight savings alone.
The Aarons have it. There you have it.
No.
It's all about safety and the economy.
We can
and
announce.
tourism.
No,
We
get up
can
earlier
announce
in the
live
morning.
here on Two
No,
Brunettes
don't
and
be
a
a morning
Gay,
person.
Radio Italia Uno. You heard it here first that daylight savings is staying.
No.
That
Right.
decision has
and
been
you
made.
can enjoy your chimichanga later at night now.
I'll be back
This
to appeal
weekend?
this. I'll be taking this further.
I got my first maths debate.
All right. Well, after this,
One Aaron, nil Deanna.
well, Aaron, you might like daylight savings, but coming up after this, we've got what gets up your goat again.
Yep.
So stay tuned for more Two Brunettes and a Gay. All right, hold your seats, ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, because we haven't done this little doozy here for a while, but we thought it was time to dust it off and bring it back, and it's time for you all to hear what gets up Aaron's goat. No, we got it.
Oh,
there it is. Oh,
he's very quiet. The goat is quite far. The goat's in Kangaroo Island.
The goat's in Granite Island. Now, this segment, I love this segment because I just get to get on my soapbox and just complain, which is my favourite thing to do.
No,
It really
also
is. We just give you a
excited.
platform to do it live here.
Look, I just love a good whinge, and this is a great, forum to do it. So,
And it's unlike a gay man to whinge.
no, that's right, isn't it? I'm a rarity.
You are.
You
Okay,
are.
well,
You are the
yeah.
exception to the rule.
Actually, someone said to me the other day, they tuned in, they said, I love your show, but you seem to all whinge about a lot of stuff.
I feel like that's accurate. Sometimes I listen to us and I'm like, God, you guys complain a lot. Who are these three?
That's the only content we know how to perform or to talk about is
Whinging.
Yeah,
Or
stuff
laughing
we
at
know.
ourselves.
Yeah.
But
Don't
anyway,
listen,
what
that's
gets up your
fine.
goat?
That's right. What exactly? But let's just delve right into it, shall we? So, last weekend went to a few different venues over the weekend, and there was one common denominator that really got up my goat. Okay, so I know we're going to have to go here, but look, it's in relation to toilets. So, David's shaking his head.
The head drop has happened.
The head
But,
drop.
I mean, in
the Heath
fairness,
head drop.
In fairness to you, you do spend a lot of time in the toilet.
I do. It's where I get
Yeah.
my best thinking
That's
done.
right, yes.
And my
Yeah.
best drinking.
So
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went to a few different venues on the weekend, and there was a common denominator, and it really got up my goat because it got me to thinking. Now, for a man especially, if I need to go to the toilet to do number one, I'm not going to, go any further with that definition,
Yep.
but a number
Urination
one,
station.
yeah, it's correct. Then I hate the urinal. I refuse to go to the urinal unless I'm in dire straits, and I just find that the urinal is so uncomfortable because you have to stand next to other people, and it's just I get stage fright.
I have so many questions regarding the urinal.
Really
And I love how you're like in agreement, Celeste, but you don't know.
No, I just have so many questions. Go on.
I get really bad stage fright. So normally I will go to a cubicle. I prefer a cubicle. Now, these venues in particular, in the male toilets, there was a urinal, there was a sink and mirror, and there was one cubicle.
Oh, okay.
Now, I don't know what they think of when they're building some of these venues or, how they sort of renovate them and things like that, because some of the venues have been renovated. And a lot of them have tended, obviously, to think that men only need one cubicle.
Right.
Now, I'm sorry. Men need several cubicles.
Do they?
Have you met us?
Yeah, I know, but the women's toilets have always got a line going out the door. At least you guys are in and out.
Yeah, but that's if you don't get stage fright, right?
Okay.
So I what really gets on my goat is that they have one cubicle, and all three venues, when I've tried to get in there and use the cubicle, it's either taken or you walk in there and the other thing is they don't maintain this cubicle either.
No, that's not good.
Two of the venues, the toilet seat was broken. There was the lock was broken, and it's awkward. So, but to give you a bit of history behind this, and to give you, a bit more info on just how much stage fright I get having to pee. I was on the Popeye once,
Oh, no.
and we had this drinking tour, and I thought, that sounds fun. Didn't realise the Popeye didn't have any toilets on board, right?
If you don't know what the Popeye is, it's a boat.
It's a local South Australian treasure, is the Popeye. So I got on.
Icon.
It's an icon, and I got on this boat, and they said to us, "Well, look, there's no toilets on board, but there are public toilets, and stuff along the River Torrens. So if you need to go, let us know, and we'll pull over." Of course, me and my success with boats, as you both know, we got what's
been,
the word?
bogged
on the Port
Yeah.
Princess.
Yeah.
So again, here's my bad luck with boats. The Popeye got bogged.
Did it actually?
It got bogged right at the end. So the boat went to turn around and it couldn't turn around, and I'm going, oh my God, I'm in desperate need of a pee. Because again, it's a drinking event. You're drinking lots, and you're like, okay, cool. You just expect that you'd be able to go to the toilet. So it got bogged, and so I was busting. The only way that they told me I could go was off the Popeye. Now, we're talking, this is a sunset cruise. Everyone could see you walking up and down the River Torres.
The Torrens, I was going to say, so you're in a public, like, right in view
in
of
a public
everybody.
place. Now, every other male on that boat was like, cool, I'll just do it. I don't care.
Hold on, I tuned out for a second because you were boring, but did you just say they told you to pee off the side of the boat?
They told us that if you're that desperate,
Pee off the side of the
pee off the side of the boat.
Oh, my God.
They gave us permission. So everyone, all the guys were great because they're like, cool, I'm just going to get on the end and just whip it out and pee. I was the one going, how the hell do I do this? Because normally I pee in a cubicle. So I had to get on the boat, and you know what? It took about an hour and a half.
No.
Of even Mark going, Aaron, don't worry, no one's looking, go now. It took an hour and a half, and finally when I did it, I walked back onto the boat and everyone just cheered.
Clapped
So you made it worse than it
Clapped
needed
me
to
on,
be
and I
in
was
the
like,
end.
oh my God. So this is how much stage fright I get, and it just really gets up my goat that they do not make enough cubicles in male toilets anymore. It's ridiculous.
Right. Well, like I said, I've got so many questions when it comes to urinals. Like, do you talk to each other?
See, I don't use them, but
Okay.
but that's the awkward part.
This is the thing that gets me. Like, obviously, ladies go into the bathroom together, but we go into separate cubicles. But we will talk to each other, but you're
Yeah.
not next to each other. Like, what is the etiquette in it? Like, when you're standing at a urinal, are you supposed to make conversation?
No, you're supposed to. I think you're supposed to just basically stay silent, focus on what you're doing,
Yeah,
and
like
get
be
the
in
hell
your
out of there.
lane, like,
Be in
you
your-
know.
because some urinals obviously they have the dividers, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But a lot of urinals here in Australia just have the open urinal. Everyone gets in and away you go.
Oh, God.
It's hideous.
I do not understand. Like, I get why you get. I get it. I understand.
So what I'm doing here today is I just really want to give a shout out to all the venues out there that have one male cubicle and say, think of people like me who get stage fright.
Right, okay.
Maybe, mate, you know what? I love the gender-neutral toilet movement. It's fantastic. I support it. Bring the gender-neutral toilets back. Put them in South Australia, because then you can shut the door, do your business, and it's in private.
Ah, okay. So you prefer it when the venues have gender-neutral toilets because
love
they're
that.
more accommodating to females, and females always have cubicles.
I'm going to disagree
Well, I'm gay,
with
so
that,
I'm
though.
almost a female.
I'm going to disagree with that, though, Aaron, because
Yeah.
as a user of a female bathroom, the lineup in comparison to the
Yes.
males, you would not cope. If you were busting to go to the toilet, and I
Mm.
can't tell you how many times, especially in Europe, in airports, wherever we were,
20 minutes.
Yep.
you're waiting in a line with maybe 20 plus women to use the bathroom,
Mm.
and the men are in and out and have had a coffee in the time that we're in the line.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know
Sounds
what?
like a
For
good
us,
idea, but it's not.
For us, it might suck, but thinking about all the women out there who have had babies or are pregnant and are having to hold on,
Yeah.
like that, find it difficult. I'm a big advocate for the fact that, I mean, maybe like the men's situation, you know, there needs some consideration there. The women's toilets in any venue, they need to be doubled. They need to
I
be
agree.
doubled.
I agree.
Or you just turn into my sister who just goes into the men's toilets anyway if the
there
women's
you
line's
go.
too big. So.
But it's funny though,
Change it
because
up.
your
Yeah.
story
story did remind me of something, and that was that one time I actually broke a toilet seat.
what?
We were in a venue. We were in a karaoke bar. Good times. I think it was like my 19th or 20th birthday. And lining up as per usual in the female bathrooms. And I went to walk into the cubicle after this girl came out, and there was just like water all over the floor.
Oh.
I slipped. I was wearing
You
platform heels. I slipped over, completely wiped out, tried to catch myself, grabbed the toilet and ripped the toilet seat off. Just lying there on the bathroom floor of a karaoke bar with a toilet seat in my hand and my legs under the next cubicle.
Still, but at least you didn't have to unzip your pants and do it in between
But can you
three other
imagine
guys.
if you were in that cubicle?
And you had her legs come underneath.
You get
and
even
that-
more stage fright.
And on that note, that is classic Sinek. I don't know what I'm even saying. Classic Celeste. That's what I meant. All right, stay tuned. We'll be back with more Two Brunettes and a Gay after this.
You know, we just talked about what gets up Aaron's goat. And this segment really isn't about what gets up my goat, but it really is. Right?
What gets up your sheep?
It really... it's
Because we like to complain.
Because we... On the topic of us complaining, right, I feel like this is a general consensus thing, but I want to talk to you guys about this and see where you stand on it, okay? Yeah. Text etiquette. SMS etiquette. All right.
Yep, big one.
I have noticed this more and more. Maybe it's an old age thing. Maybe as I'm getting older, I'm just noticing it more. But I really have taken issue over the last few months with people who will message me and then I will respond and then they just don't reply. Right? And it just bothers me that I'm like, I didn't reach out to you. You reached out to me. Now, I know we've discussed this before in the context of them asking for something. This isn't even in the context of them asking for something. This is in the context of, I'm really sorry that I haven't spoken to you lately. How have you been going? I just want to check in. I know we haven't spoken. All of that, right? Great to hear from you in my response. You know, yes, I know it's been such a long time. How are you going? Oh, crickets. Crickets. Well, what was the point of the first text message? You know, if you've messaged me to check in. So it got me to thinking about text etiquette and email etiquette.
Yeah.
You know, I know sometimes that I can forget to reply. I am not perfect. I know that surprises a lot of you listening. I am not perfect. I can admit my flaws.
Shocking.
Right? But I reckon I'm about 93% accurate with my responses with a good 12-hour turnaround.
That's very specific.
Yeah. He hired a consultant to get those figures.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. 12 to 24-hour turnaround on about 93% of my text messages or
KPIs,
emails.
smashing them.
I know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, but how long is too long to wait to respond to a text message?
I am someone who, because sometimes, like, you know, with the nature of our job being in like back-to-back customers all day where you're in appointments and so you can't check your phone. Like in between, if I've got like a bunch of messages and missed calls and things like that, I try and make a point not to check them so that I can remember when I've got a bunch of time to respond. But because I'm someone who absolutely hates text messaging, like I hate it. Voicemail's fine. People send me long messages with all this time to respond and I check it when I've got a quick break and I don't have all this time to respond to their 75 inquiries that they've made in the one message, then sometimes I have to wait for later and that's when I forget to reply. I don't forget completely, but I mean, look, I think like 24 hours, 48 hours, like, you know, unless it's urgent, obviously, I mean, I think that's okay. I think when you've got certain friends that, take like a week and a half to get back to you every time, that's a bloody annoying.
Those.
Right, it's the serial offenders. That's the ones. That's the ones that I take issue with. Like I said, a good 7% of the time I'm off my game, so I can make mistakes. But it's the serial offenders that you get to a point and you're like, do I text you back and like, you know, follow up? Are you still alive?
Did you die?
Hey, I messaged you a week ago and you never responded. Is everything okay? Like, is that bad text etiquette to do that? Do you just let it go?
I think you should give it a try.
Yeah, I would.
You haven't done it yet, have you? Like, you haven't.
I haven't.
I think you should, just to test the waters. See what this friend does.
It's multiple. It's not just one.
Oh, it's multiple.
Yeah.
You know,
is it me? Am I boring?
I think I think you should do it because I think what it does is it gives, like, for me, firstly, if someone did that to me, I would be like, oh shit, I am so sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot to respond.
Yep.
And I
Yeah.
appreciate the prompt.
Me
But
too.
for the serial offenders, like, you keep doing that every time and then eventually they're going to run out of like bullshit stories to give you.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you know, my dog ran outside and then, you know, ran down and swam in the lake and I had to, you know, put on my life jacket and get it and then I forgot to reply. You know, so I think you should call people out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because it's genuinely, you'll figure out the genuine from the not genuine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Look, it's the same with emails though, right? Obviously, we run a business. Everybody has emails, okay? It baffles me the number of people that can function without checking their emails.
Oh, yeah, I'm a serial email checker.
I have to check my emails
zero.
multiple times a day, and I cannot understand the number of people that you'll say, I've sent you a few emails. Oh, I don't check my emails.
Are we talking
What
from
do you do?
a corporate perspective here? Like a work perspective?
From a corporate perspective.
Yeah.
From a life perspective.
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, I don't communicate with my friends via email.
Yeah.
But I always check my emails because there could be anything corporate related, whether it be my work emails or my personal emails.
Yeah, like things like, your gym membership, you might get an email about it, or, shipments. If you've ordered
Inquiries that you've
something.
made. Yeah.
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
like-
Orders, deliveries.
How do you
that
keep track of everything?
It baffles me the number of people that don't check their emails, right? Now, corporate emails, it really got me to thinking how many times that I have then sent, the email, the follow-up email, where you have to be really, like, kind about the way that you word things. And I feel like, Aaron, in your line of work, this would be a real thing. Like, certain phrases and certain words that you use that are a nice way of saying, stuff you.
Yeah.
Where have you been? You haven't responded.
Yeah. Further to the below.
Exactly,
I love
right?
that one. It's like you catch people I've had situations like that where I've sent these. What frustrates me is when someone emails you with something quote unquote urgent. So I make it my business to make sure I respond urgently and give all the information they need up front. And then they sit on it. And then I do the check-in. Hi, just checking in to see if there's been any progress on this.
Yep.
I'm pretty good that way. I'll regularly check in. The ones I hate is where it's dead radio silence and then they'll come back to you and go, oh, no, I need this signed ASAP today. And you just think,
Best saying ever, your disorganization does not constitute my emergency.
amen.
Yep.
And do you know what? I haven't done it, but I've read on Google these Reddit stories where people have done it, where they've actually said stuff in their email. So what they've done is they've replied with something like that, but then changed the font color to white.
Oh, my God,
And
so you can't
sent
see it.
So you can't see it, but you know it's in there. As a good backhand,
You've just given a lot of people an idea. Well, there's just certain phrases that come to mind, right?
Yep.
So, like, when someone responds to an email that you've sent,
Yeah.
and then they ask a question that you've already answered,
Yes.
or they bring up something that you're like, this has already been addressed, and you do the as per my last email. That's a real, like, read it again, idiot.
As I mentioned previously,
As you will see attached below, I have included the email chain.
The
in
great part,
case you missed it,
the great part when you do those ones is when you CC their managers.
That I don't do
really
that.
dig it in.
No,
Yeah,
well,
it's
see,
great.
You're a terrible person.
I just know how to work the game, play the game. No, they're great. But you know what? But the end of it, it always comes down to whether you want to send a kind regards or not.
Oh, yeah, like a with thanks, a kind regards, or just a regards.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just Aaron.
oh,
You're
that's
in
a
the
cold
shit.
shoulder, isn't
Is
it?
that,
If I just
like,
say
so
it.
not even the last name, just Aaron?
Just Aaron.
Hey.
You don't even get it. You don't even get a signature block.
No.
You just get
You don't even know if I
Aaron.
work here. Aaron C.
Hey.
You next Tuesday.
We're back, and we haven't done this one for a few weeks, so I think it's time for another unpopular opinions. Okay, here we go. Celeste, Aaron, unpopular opinions. Do you agree? Do you disagree? First one. I'd rather drive in silence than with playing music.
Oh, God.
Disagree.
What a fun sucker do you have to be?
Great. I can't do I get car sick if
You
I
get
don't have
car
music
sick
going.
if music's on?
No, hear me out. No, do you know the reason that people get car sick is because they can hear the engine running and it does something that actually creates nausea.
I feel like you just definitely made that
I've
up.
had car sickness since I was a kid. Look it up.
That's
all right.
bollocks.
Google
I
it.
disagree. I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly. But what I will say is whenever I am driving and I arrive at a destination I have not been to, I do need to turn the music down to see better.
Yeah, and to park.
If you're looking for a house number, or you're in the dark, or you've got to stop somewhere, and you're driving, and you're like, all right, hold on, turn the radio. Why do you turn the radio down to see better? Like, it is. That's the house.
For me, it's when I reverse.
You have to turn the radio down? My car does that automatically when I put it in reverse.
So does mine, but still, like I've got to do it when I reverse.
Bloody dumb.
And also, I have to admit that I don't prefer either or, but I'm about 50-50. Sometimes I like no music and silence in the car.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes I just want to be with my own thoughts. Interesting.
Oh, God. No, I'd hate to be with my own thoughts.
Sometimes it doesn't have to be music. It can be a podcast, 2 Brunettes and a Gay, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Hot dogs are better than hamburgers and cheeseburgers.
Disagree.
Disagree. I mean, there's vegan options of both, but I disagree. I'd probably pick a burger over
a burger
hot dog.
to a hot dog.
Hot dogs are always good in theory, and then I eat them and I'm like, oh, I shouldn't have had that. Yeah.
Look, to be honest with you, I don't really order either, right? But I'd go a burger over a hot dog if they were my two options.
Give me that now.
Onion rings are better than French fries.
Disagree. Yuck. French fries all the way.
God, you don't want to be around me.
Flying the flag for the French fries.
If I've eaten onion rings, watch out. You don't want to be around me then.
Androids are better than Apple iPhones.
Disagree.
Oy.
I feel like Aaron and Deanna, you've done both, right? I've always only been Apple since I was 18.
Yeah.
But I think you've both done a Samsung.
Yes.
Haven't you?
I'm by telecommunications. I could go either way, but now that I've gone back to Apple, I have to go with Apple.
Interesting, because I feel like when Samsung users are on Samsung, they're adamant about it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, Android is the best.
They're right or die.
But I've done that with Apple. Apple users. Apple users were very adamant. Like, how dare you have a disgusting Android? Mark used to pick on me when I had an Android.
Really?
Oh, you're one of those people.
How dare.
Look, it's been a hot minute since I had an Android, but back when I had them, they were a bit clunky, so I can't give you a reference for now.
They had their purpose.
Sprinkles are gross and ice cream should be served plain.
Disagree.
You like sprinkles on your ice cream?
I don't like sprinkles necessarily on my ice cream, but fairy bread? Sprinkles aren't gross. Fairy bread?
Would you call me?
No, but is it? Well, okay, all right. So but they're talking about sprinkles on ice cream.
On ice cream.
When I was a kid, I loved to sprinkle on my ice cream. I did.
You did actually.
Just the colours.
Coming from just having my wisdom teeth out, I've been having some plain ice cream lately. It's fabulous.
Just on its own.
Yeah, just like the coconut ice cream.
Oh, yeah,
it's got that little bit of a flavour to it. You don't need to add anything
You
else.
know, when I was a kid, I was impartial to a bit of Nesquik on the ice cream.
Here's an unpopular opinion.
Really?
Here's an unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Best flavour in a Neapolitan, strawberry.
No.
I'm with you.
No.
Yes. Oh, my God.
David.
No. Come on.
Best flavour in a Neapolitan.
It's
probably.
yeah.
the strawberry.
Out of
Chocolate's
3 out of 4.
Chocolate.
Mediocre at
strawberry's
best.
a bit
Okay.
exotic.
Look, I got to be honest.
Fragola.
I don't like just chocolate or just vanilla on their own, but I like the combination of the two together. Get the frickin' strawberry out of my plate.
What is it?
Gross.
That has a thing. That's got a name, right? The two flavours together.
Does it?
I don't know. Top
Deck or something like that.
Top Deck is why.
Okay.
That was why when we
Get
were
your
kids,
mind out of the gutter,
we were kids. We used to go to Nonna's house and she'd have the big, Bilo tub of Neapolitan ice cream. Do you remember Bilo?
Oh my God, I love
the big
Bilo.
yellow tub of the Neapolitan. And I would eat
see
all the
it.
chocolate and the vanilla, and then Celeste would just go wild on the strawberry.
I'd
that'd
go
be me.
strawberry and vanilla, but
Yeah.
I was definitely strawberry.
Yeah. It's like a thick shake.
Does
I always go
anyone
to
eat all
strawberry.
three? Oh, that's a masturbate.
There you go. All right, movie theatre popcorn isn't very good.
Right, disagree. Love it.
It's the best.
Love it.
Beats
Can't
any
go to
other
the
kind of
movies
popcorn.
without it.
No, won't hear of anything else.
Okay, and last one. There's no reason to make your bed in the morning.
Disagree. Get some structure in your life if you don't do your bed. For crying out loud.
Do you know what? I don't, because I usually just go, oh, that's the last of my worries, I don't care anymore. And usually I just...
How stressful
it's
is
the
your
bottom of
life to not be able to
my
make your
list.
bed?
But it feels so much better when you do make your bed in the morning.
When you get into a made bed, it's different. I feel like on the very, very rare occasion in my life where I haven't made my bed for whatever reason, and I get back into it at nighttime, the sleep quality is just not as good. Your sheets are all crumpled up, and just your blanket's it's disproportionate to the positioning of your body. Your pillow's messed. Nah.
Are you a tucker or a non-tucker?
Of my sheets?
Yeah.
Tucker all the way. My mum would do our beds to the point where you couldn't get in them.
Yeah.
You had to try and your legs up just to try and loosen the sheets a little bit.
Mark always picks on me because I don't make the bed in the morning, but I'll come home at night. I'll make the bed before I get in it. So it's so stupid. I will make it and then I'll go, okay, it's tucked, and then I'll get myself in it. And he's like, oh dear, what are you doing? No,
I definitely made my bed in the morning. Great.
You got your life together. I like it.
Yeah, look, I am chaos and structure. I'm both. Celestial structure.
Yes, chaos in probably very small areas, but I feel like just doing your bed, it just makes you feel like you've got your life together. When my bed's done, I'm like, all right, done that, excellent. I've been productive today.
Yeah, you've ticked one accomplishment
You
off.
Start the day off on the right foot because you're like, okay, productive, here we go, one thing after the next.
Start the day on the right side of the bed.
And do you know what's even better?
Getting out the right side.
When someone else makes it for you.
That is good. Although I because I'm so used to making my own bed, I don't know about you guys. Aaron, you're probably a no for this. Celeste, you'd be the same. I still always cover my bed over in the hotel room so it's not super messy before they come in to make it.
I do too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm make sure it's neat and tidy so that they don't have to.
That's, again, shout out to our mum. That's a mum thing. I feel like growing up, whenever we went on holiday, she probably made the beds for the cleaners. Yeah, for the housekeeping. No. And so now I do it, and my husband will be like, you know that you don't have to make the bed, and I'm like, just so it's neat when they come in.
Yeah, but meanwhile
I feel like they might appreciate it.
No, meanwhile they come in, they're like, oh, for God's sake, who's done this again?
Gotta strip the whole thing.
Pull it all off again and strip it.
Yeah,
and
they're
do
like,
it
look
again.
how stupid this is.
Thanks a lot. This is my job, and you've just ruined it.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Okay. Well, look, that brings us to the end of our show, the pointy end of our show. I don't know what that actually means. The pointy end of our show.
I think it just means the end.
It just means the end.
It's like
the meeting point of the arrow. I don't know.
The Madonna cones.
Have you got any unpopular opinions you'd like us to discuss? Head to our social media, Facebook and Instagram, Brunettes A Gay. Check us out. Send us a DM. Give us some material. We're interested. We're open. We love some new ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, we feel like our ideas are pretty good, but if you think we can do better, slide into our DMs and let us know.
Send us an email. hello@brunettesandagay.com.au.
It's not AU. I think it's just .com.
And don't send us an email then.
And of course,
we won't respond.
No wonder we don't get any emails. You've been giving out the wrong one.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we've been getting no emails. And if you want to catch us on the podcast, you can download the Brunettes A Gay podcast on all the major podcasting platforms. And of course, if you want to listen live, we're on at 5 p.m. every Tuesday here on Radio Italia Uno, 87.6 FM. You can also download the Radio Italia Uno Adelaide app and catch us live from anywhere in the world. And that's about it from us.
Now, have a fabulous week. Wind your clock forward by 1 hour this weekend. And we'll see you
next Tuesday.
Ciao, Adelaide. It's your favourite trio, Two Brunettes and a Gay, here to remind you to join us every Tuesday at 5 p.m. for your drive home.
Expect the best beats, sassiest segments and plenty of piping hot tea from the weekly rumour mill. And let's be honest, we know us Italians love a good gossip.
So tune in at 5 p.m. every Tuesday right here on your number one station, Radio Italia Uno, 87.6 FM.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.